I just absolutely love it when people say things like, you're in your 20s, what do you have to worry about? Meanwhile, your 20s are literally the decade where you're going to make some of the most healthy and sane decisions for the rest of your life, or some of the most damaging and traumatizing decisions. And that's not to say that if you're in your 30s or your 40s or your 50s, you cannot turn your life around, because you definitely can. But it's simply to say that all those people in their 40s and 50s saying that and asking that question, maybe they wouldn't feel that burdened if they had made better decisions when they were in their 20s. Making the best out of your 20s, hot advice number 1 is dating for marriage / long-term commitment instead of dating for pleasure. And before you're like, oh yeah, well, just please hear me out. I could literally write a book about how the choice of your partner and when you make that choice can literally break you or make you. But since we don't have time for all of that, I just want you to take a minute and look around you and see how many people became poorer or richer because of their partners. How many people went from unhappy, unfulfilled, and just all over the place to happy, successful, and just full of energy and positivity because of their partner. At the same time, I want you to see how many people went from having their lives together to having their lives all over the place, being damaged, traumatized, and hurt because of the choice of partner. The person you choose to have next to you is the person that you spend the most of your time with. It is the person that you process majority of your thoughts with. It is the person that has the most access to your time, your energy, and your thoughts. Having the mindset of I'm dating for marriage or I'm dating for a long-term serious commitment simply protects you from low quality experiences and sets your standards a little bit higher, simply because you realize what you accept right now is what you're going to have to deal with for a very, very long time. At the same time, dating for pleasure or personal exploration, as people like to call it these days, either makes you pass on amazing opportunities, or it literally destroys your life day by day, little by little. I think when we are in our 20s, we don't realize two major things about dating, with the first one being that the absence of a label does not determine the impact a person is going to have into your life. If you are having a thing with someone that is toxic, or not even toxic, just not permanent, the fact that this person is not labeled your partner, or the fact that this thing is not a relationship, is not going to stop that person from hurting you or you feeling traumatized. The fact that you are into that person, no matter what the concept of this thing is, a situationship, we're just seeing each other, I'm just exploring this, I'm just exploring that, it is not going to stop you from getting hurt. If you are into that person, the effect they're going to have on you is equal, if not worse, to the effect a person that would be labeled your partner would have. The second thing that we don't tend to understand when we are in our 20s when it comes to dating is the fact that while time is relevant, trauma isn't. Majority of the narrative of people in the 20s is that I am young, I have all of the time in the world to enjoy, I'm going to have fun now, I'm going to experiment, I have so much time in front of me to make the right decisions. And whilst in my personal opinion, we don't eventually have that much time as we tend to think, the important thing is that even if we have that much time, we need to think that those people that we are experimenting with and those people that we are having casual, intimate relationships are the people that are setting our standards and expectations and our emotional health for the rest of our lives or for a very, very long time to come. If you spend an entire decade having intimate relationships with people that you view and that they view you as disposable, what sort of standard do you think that sets for you when you eventually decide to look for your forever person? Or that being said, I'm very sure that there will be people that will point out the fact that you can still get hurt and traumatized even if you are in a permanent relationship, that marriages also go wrong, that long-term relationships also can leave you just all over the place. And I do agree with you, absolutely, which is why I preface the entire argument by saying that selecting the right partner could be a book of its own. Nevertheless, I do believe that when you have the mindset that I am only going to date people who I could potentially spend the rest of my life with, this kind of mindset sets a completely different bar, a completely different standard for dating, for the very simple reason that this kind of mindset protects you from low quality experiences. It protects you from emotionally unavailable people. It protects you from people who don't have the same aspirations and the same values as you, simply because you don't have the stomach or the willingness to deal with all of that for the rest of your life. Advice number 2 is prioritize financial health over everything. In my experiences, there are 2 types of categories of people in their 20s. The first one is the people who cannot stop stressing about money, even if it's not for survival reasons. And the second one is the people who do not grasp the idea of money altogether, or they don't even come close to understanding the importance of it. I do believe that both those categories have a lot to do with both social media and not so great parenting and an educational system that doesn't explain that much about money or the concept of money altogether. But I just want you to remember, before I explain this entire argument, that wanting to make more money or find more money in order to get the latest iPhone or the AirPods or the latest lip gloss or whatever it is going to rip you off of all the happiness you could have and that you deserve to have in your life. There is absolutely nothing wrong with wanting all that and more. There is absolutely nothing wrong with having ambition in your life, but there is everything wrong, or rather harming for you, with thinking that an item can have such a positive, life-changing impact on your life, and B, that you can buy your way into wealth or happiness. Financial health isn't just about not having debt or having a very well-managed debt, but it is mostly about understanding that money is a tool and you need to learn how you are able to use it or what to do with it in order for it to multiply itself. And I can guarantee you that a Sephora spree is not the answer to that question, no matter how much we have normalized this completely out of hand overconsumption. The second category is the people who cannot grasp the idea of money altogether. There is complete ignorance about how to make money, let alone how to invest money, how the economy works, and all of that. And if you are part of that category, I beg you to please take a little bit of time every single week and learn something practical about money, whether that is how to pay off your debt, how to do your taxes, how to invest and where to invest part of your money, or how to make money in the first place, because I can guarantee you it is going to be one of the most precious gifts you will ever give to yourself. Personally, I was super fortunate to grow up with a family that provided everything for me and more, but the downside of that was that I spent the first 3 years of my 20s being absolutely lost when it came to financial literacy. I had no idea about anything money. Understanding how to make money, how to invest money, how the economy works, how taxes work, how money can multiply itself, and how I can make money without exchanging my time for it or having multiple streams of income has been the single most profound revelation of my entire life. There is absolutely nothing more comforting than saying goodbye to your 20s and starting your 30s with no debt investments in place to take care of you in the long run, and a money-making mindset that is going to help you in every single aspect of your personal and professional life. Life-changing advice number 3 is pivot and do it fast. I think perseverance is praised so much amongst our generation, partly because, yes, we're going through several circumstances that are a little bit more challenging compared to the circumstances that our parents had to face. For example, the job market is extremely challenging. Relationships are very difficult to navigate nowadays. Friendships are very hard to cultivate. And please don't let me get started on global politics and environmental disasters. But the idea here is that perseverance doesn't mean stubbornness. I think one of the most life-changing decisions for me was to consciously scan every single room, as in every single situation, and redefine my life's trajectory and the choices that I'm making at that specific moment in the context of that specific situation. Now, don't get me wrong, when I'm saying pivot or when I'm saying change the direction of your efforts or read the room and redefine the trajectory of your life, I do not mean give up on everything the moment it gets hard, because everything gets hard at some point. But what I'm trying to say is that we need to embrace change and learn how to be flexible. Just because things are not turning out our way, it doesn't mean that things are not turning out the right way. My personal plan after graduating university was that I wanted to go work for big corporate and, just climb the corporate ladder and have a career and all that. And that never happened. Instead, because I didn't have the opportunity to join big corporate, I started building businesses, some of which were successful and some of which not really. But the point is that the fact that I embraced that change and the set of challenges it actually came with allowed me to have a life and have a life right now that I never thought would ever happen or be possible for me. It was something that was never, ever in my prospects. So my personal advice is be persistent until the moment that something way better comes into your way, or until the moment you are completely and utterly convinced that your dead end will remain a dead end. And I don't mean be opportunistic and, drop everything for the prospect of something better. But what I'm trying to say is be alert and be willing to adapt and change when the dynamics shift. Make the best out of your 20s. Advice number 4 is stop trying to be friends with people for the sake of having friends and start being friends with people who want to be a friend themselves. I know that friendships can be something extremely challenging, especially in the 20s and especially for women. And I also think that it is one of those things that it is either completely rewarding or so massively draining that you just cannot take it. But I want you to pay attention to me and, for the love of God, stop trying to be friends with people just to be able to say that you are a friend of X person. Stop trying to be friends with people who always collect but never deliver. Stop trying to be friends with people for whom you are always their lifeline, but they are never yours. Stop trying to be friends with people who don't understand your ambition or your values and cannot even acknowledge your emotions and your concerns. Stop trying to be friends with people who have nothing to offer you but the memory of the friendship you once had. There is nothing wrong with outgrowing people. That friend you used to have at junior high might be an absolutely wonderful person, but it might also be someone who can no longer understand you or your life. You can be there, you can love them, you can show up when they need you, but you don't need to try to carry the friendship through just because it used to be great. You are a different person now, so please go find new people. The people you have around you, the people that you call friends, These people are supposed to be able to inspire you. They're supposed to be able to teach you things. They're supposed to be in a position to advise you when you want perspective on things. And if the people you have around you are not in a position to do that, then you are hanging out with the wrong people. Believe me when I'm telling you that people always bring you to their level, whether that is up or down. So be extremely careful of who you are allowing to have access to your life, your energy, your thoughts, and your feelings. And by the way, if you can't find those people yet who can be all that for you, then I can promise you that loneliness doesn't hurt. Mediocrity though, mediocrity does. My fifth and final advice, and that is one thing I wish I knew earlier, or like I believed it earlier, is the fact that they don't know any better. There is so much narrative, so much discussion, especially when you're in your 20s, from older generations, making young people out to be these ignorant human beings who have no idea about life and marriage and relationships and finance and this and that. And whilst I have the world's respect for people who are older than me and have more experience than me and have more insights than me on several things in life, I have literally come to the conclusion that they don't know any better, and that so many times they don't know at all. When we are in our 20s, we stress so much about making the right decision and saying the right things and looking knowledgeable and doing the right job and, going into the right career and the right this and the right that. But believe me when I'm telling you, the majority of the people around you, they have no idea what they're doing themselves. I have met 50-year-old CEOs that have absolutely no idea what they're doing. I know couples that they've been married for over 30 years and they couldn't be able to redo marriage if their lives depended on it. I have spent so many years admiring people with all of my being until the moment that I met them in person. And I realized that they're not that special after all. And what makes them truly exceptional and admirable is the way that they handled the specific situation that they were going through, is the decisions that they made for their own lives. But that doesn't mean that they have the answers for your life or my life. That doesn't mean that they know better. Trust your intuition and your abilities and see the fact that you are in your 20s as an advantage, not as something that keeps you back and something that makes you less of a person or something that makes you less knowledgeable and less capable and something that doesn't allow you to fully flourish and succeed in whatever domain or whatever aspect of life. This is your life. You are the one that has the answers. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe, because this way you're letting YouTube know that this is a valuable video and it can recommend it to other people who can also enjoy and be helped by this video. And if you love videos about dating, self-development, trust, friendships, and all that jazz, you will find plenty more on my channel. So please don't hesitate to take a look. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again on my next video.